Hi, I'm David Reddish. I am here at the Pixar Studios in Northern California to sit down with the talent of their latest film, Elemental. Stay with us here at MovieWeb. Peter, Denise, thank you for talking with me today. And the movie is Elemental. Congratulations. It's always a huge deal when a Pixar movie comes out. I would imagine it's even bigger when it's your movie that you've cultivated from the very beginning. One of the things I really want to ask about, and I know this is a very personal thing for you, Peter, the Immigrant Experience really colors this film. When you were pitching to Disney and to Pixar, was there ever any hesitation as to this is something we want to include? How far do we go with it? We don't want to upstage the love story. Like, what's the give and take like for the two of you when you're developing the story?
At first, there wasn't really any sort of talk about the immigration in a way of like as a piece of a movie. It just was a part of a personal experience that I had of where as a kid I didn't appreciate all the things my parents had done until I was an adult and really understanding like, holy cow, they came here with nothing. Oh my God, they had no money. And as an adult, like, how could they have even signed like a contract for a house? Like, what did they do? They can't even read the language. And the older I got, the more this sort of overwhelming emotion of gratitude came of like, they did so much for my brother and I just to make a life here. And so that was the heart of it. It wasn't like, oh, it's gotta be about immigration. It was just like, holy cow. You know, our parents have done so much for us, and that sort of became the little North Star that we just kept chasing throughout this whole film.
I was going to say, and Pete told a story after he came back from an experience he had in New York, and so he didn't do the traditional pitch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was, you know, when he recounted the story, you know, everyone here was like, that's the story you need to tell.
So you've never left Firetown?
Sorry, buddy. Elements don't mix.
Hey!
Plus, my dad would boil you alive.
Why does anyone get to tell you what you can do in your life?
So this is your first movie in, what, 8 years? Since Good Dinosaur, which the two of you worked on together.
Yes.
That movie came out, didn't have the warm reception that this one's getting. When you go through an experience like that, where you put your heart and soul into a film, into a project, and it's not what you want it to be, it doesn't find an audience, what do you learn about yourself, and how does that inform when you sit down to do Elemental? How does that inform what you guys, the way you approach it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, these are all emotional experiences, you know, and you know, something I learned really early on at Pixar, maybe it wasn't the healthiest thing, but like you always put your heart out even in any drawing that you're doing. And those first times you're in art school and when you have to draw something, you're like, here you go. Once you do this gesture, it's such a crazy metaphor for everything else that you do the rest of your life in an art form like this. You're always revealing something about yourself. And it's getting criticized, and it can hurt so much, you know, beyond compare. But that early lesson at Pixar, like I remember doing a storyboard that you do that, then you go, do I close my heart the next time I offer something? Do I get jaded and cynical? Or do I go, you know what? Let me do it again and be full-hearted about it, because that's what you love about the work. And we love the work, and we go full-hearted.
So how do you keep your heart open? I mean, as someone who's a creative writer myself, I would love to know, how do you keep yourself from being cynical and make sure that you're being true to your own vision?
I have doors that I've tried to learn in myself, meaning when I open my heart to something and when I close it, and then when I open my mind to something and when I close it. And so it doesn't always work for me, but it's been one of the few things that I try to do for myself, to go, okay, open your heart now, let it react to something, then close it, and then think about why it is, or be intellectual over it. It's not a guarantee to anything, but it allows me to understand and not hurt the heart as much as it can when you're being open, you know.
Yeah, I think that, you know, the fact that we don't have a migratory workforce, we work together here, you know, year in and year out, and I think that we can be more vulnerable with each other, and I think that, you know, we can be honest with each other, and you know the safe places to go to talk with your colleagues when you're kind of feeling potentially your heart closing. And you know, we have a great support structure here, I would say.
That's wonderful. I mean, the two of you have worked together a very long time. You both have backgrounds in visual effects, unless I'm mistaken.
I
you
do.
do.
I do.
You worked on Star Wars and a whole host of pictures. This is one of the most visually interesting movies I've seen in recent memory. It's just gorgeous, and the cleverness, the sight gags, all of it is just a feast. Where do you come up with this? Like, and because you have, you know, the visual effects background, is there a tendency to just push it as far as you can go and try and wow everybody with everything you can do?
When Pete pitched the idea, I was very excited about it. And mainly because I had not, since I've been at Pixar, I would say I hadn't done what I would call very difficult technically, a movie that was that technically challenging. So I was really excited, and it wound up being so much harder than I ever dreamed, which is incredible because I've done big water effects, but trying to create these two characters that could emote and be appealing and that you connect to, but still have to feel like fire and water was just so much harder than we thought, and brought many tears to many different people at various times.
Yeah.
I mean, that's wonderful. Like I say, some of the most clever sight gags I've ever seen. A waterman starting a fire is, in that scene I'm going, how are they going to get through this?
Yeah.
Well, you showed me.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for the world to see it because it's going to be very well received.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank
I
you
really
from your
appreciate
lips.
Thank you both
Thank
so much,
you.
and congratulations on the movie.
That was
Thank
too
you so
fast.
much.
And guard that book with your life. Oh my
Thank
God.
you.
I'm just
Whole
like,
shelf full.
I'm looking. Oh, it's like.
I'm hooked.
Oh, it's so much lighter. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't
You
it?
were hand making this.